Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio.
All right. Let's make sure I fix this. Give me a second, y'all. Be right back. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing pretty good today. Let me turn this down. This is kind of bright. I don't like that. Let's go here. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Let me make sure I got the comments turned on. I have a call-in number for y'all tonight. Y'all can call in. I'm going to post the call-in number into the chat. Y'all can call in. I'll be here for 2 hours, y'all. 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. How everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a pretty good day today. Y'all hit that like button for me if y'all don't mind. Y'all know I'm an axe. Trying to get my algorithm up, stuff like that. I post the call-in number into the chat so y'all can call in if you want to talk. If you have a question, anything like that, just press 1, and I'll turn your microphone on, and then we can talk. If I can answer your question, I'll answer the question. If I can't answer the question, I'll tell you that I can't answer it, or I'll try to look for you some information online to see if I can answer your question. Thank y'all again. Everybody who has subscribed to my channel, even if you haven't, you just clicked on the video and just watched it because you're curious. Thank you. Thank y'all for taking the time out, for teaching yourself, for listening and learning about what's going on in these so-called courts. This stuff is when you first start, it's going to confuse you a lot because you're learning a new language. So it's going to confuse you. Some of this stuff is probably not going to make sense. So that's why I post a lot of cases. I post a lot of cases because I do a lot of research. So the cases, they clear it up for you. Also, if you want to sharpen your vocabulary in the language of legalese, which is their language, it's called legalese, then you need to read cases because they speak a lot of their language in the cases. So that's what you need to do. That's what I did. All of this stuff is easy. I promise y'all, it is very easy. What I'm going through right now is I'm trying to understand. I know that it's commercial, but I'm trying to make sure that I fully understand the commercial side of it and how it's working. What are they doing with these bonds, these promissory notes, everything? Because it seems like, based on the little small amount of research that I did today, that they're all securities. So basically, a security is just like insurance. It seems like it's just insurance on a debt, so to speak. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I got to do some more research on it. Let me check the chat and see what's up. Okay, if you got a judgment against you, well, how long has it been, Seth, since you had the judgment against you? Because if you're litigating this in so-called state court, which is an administrative agency, I'm sure that there is some statute or some rule by your Supreme Court that expressly tells you the time limit that you have to vacate that judgment, unless the judgment is void. You can attack a void judgment 1,000 years from now. If they never had jurisdiction, like you, to be honest with you, you really don't even have to attack the judgment because it's void. You know, it's not even a judgment, it's a nullity. So you really don't even have to do anything. But once they start assuming that the judgment is valid and all this shit, and they think they have jurisdiction over you to tell you to do this and do that, then that's when I personally would go in like, you know what, I don't have time for this. I file a motion to vacate the void judgment, and I would state the grounds on why the judgment is void. Understand? 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. It's civil or criminal stuff. You can call into the show if you want, man. If that works better for you, you can call into the show and then we can talk. I just put the number. I'm gonna put the number in the chat again. I should have got me some water. So 2 weeks civil. Okay. All right, give me the state right quick, Seth. I'm gonna go ahead and look it up for you, since I don't have a lot of calls online right now, so I can go ahead and see what I can do for you right now. What state was it, Seth? And I'm gonna look up, when you litigate, if it's a civil case, then you need to look up the civil rules of procedure in that particular state. Georgia, okay. So it's in Georgia. All right, give me a second. Let me see. I'm looking up the Georgia rules of criminal procedure. Not criminal procedure, civil procedure. I'm sorry. Civil procedure code of Georgia. Let me see if I can find anything. Scope court chapter 1. I don't think this is it. That's why when you doing this stuff, you gotta, as it rules of procedure in court, you gotta make sure you know which court you're in, so you can know how appeals are governed from that particular court. Like you might be in a middle court, which is a court that is like that has supervisory jurisdiction over an inferior court. You're not in the Supreme Court. They all have different statutes or something like that, or different sections in the Constitution. Hold on. I'm always calling my phone every time I go live. It just never fails. Y'all hit that like button for me, please. If y'all don't mind, hit that like button for me. Law of Georgia Civil Code. All right, let me see. Let me ask you this, Seth. What would be the basis? What's the reason that you're trying to get the judgment overturned in your favor? Do you think they not had jurisdiction? Was it some type of error that they made to where the judgment may have been different if some evidence was omitted from the case or something like that? What type of objections did you make? What's the whole basis for the trying to get the judgment reversed? Jurisdiction. Okay. So subject matter jurisdiction or jurisdiction over you? Color of law. Okay, jurisdiction. Okay. So subject matter jurisdiction or jurisdiction over you? Both. Okay. This is how they get subject matter jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction is conferred on these so-called courts in two ways. I consider all courts created. I consider anything that's created by the people and called a court is a court. That's how I consider it. Anything that's created by the legislature that is called a court is not a court. That's how I do it. Venue and subject matter. Okay. Jurisdiction is conferred on these so-called courts in two ways. They either get it via a statute from the legislature or from the sovereign people of Georgia in their constitution. So it's either conferred on them, it's either granted to them by the sovereign people of Georgia, meaning in the Constitution, or via a statute from the legislature. How they get in personam jurisdiction, meaning over you, is either by proper service of legal process, meaning by service of summons and a complaint, something like that, or your consent. Those are the only two ways that I know that they can get jurisdiction over you. Now they construe your consent as making an appearance in court, even though you might not know that they don't have jurisdiction on you. But as soon as you go there and start arguing, they're gonna assume that they have jurisdiction over you. So you always want to, if you do anything, you go to these administrative courts or whatever, always make a special appearance and make that shit, you have to do that shit in paper and file it in court or something like that, because they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna say you made a special appearance down here to challenge. They're not gonna say that shit. You can forget about that. Hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button for me, please. I really appreciate it. Do you understand venue self? If not, I'll explain it to you. I have a call-in number for y'all. If y'all don't mind, call in to the show if you can. The call-in number is 319-527-6727. 319-527-6727. All right. Venue and subject matter. Subject matter jurisdiction is either it's the same thing. Subject matter jurisdiction is either by statute or the Constitution. It's the same thing. Venue deals with locality. Venue deals, like, for example, all U.S. district courts have subject matter jurisdiction to adjudicate civil rights lawsuits cases. Okay, but let's say that your rights were violated in Florida, and you're from Georgia or whatever. Since your rights was violated in Georgia, in Florida, you would have to, you could litigate it under the diversity jurisdiction statute in Georgia, or you can do it, or you would have to file a lawsuit in Florida, since that would be the proper venue, because that's where your rights were violated at. It's better if you do it in Florida anyway, because Florida state law is going to govern, what happened over there if you file an state law claims in your federal lawsuit. Let's see. How well do you know warrants, affidavits? Can you call into the show, Robert? I don't have anybody on. I have people listening, but I don't have anybody that's with their hand raised right now. I'm gonna post a number into the chat again and call into the show, and we can talk about it. This is wrong address and lies on officer in charge. How long he worked for the agency in a search before no warrant. When went home, so I'm guessing nobody was home. Family member called him. That seems like that's unlawful. I see you live in Iowa, same as I do. Would you like to sit down and talk? I live in Denver. I don't live in Iowa, Gary. Jurisdiction, subject matter. So this is civil. You have to call into the show, Seth. I'm sorry. You have to call into the show, because I don't really know how to answer your question unless I have all of the facts to what do you want to know. So if you don't mind, if you can, just call into the show and we can go from there. I'll be checking the phone lines from time to time. Let's see. If I did live in Iowa, though, we could talk, Gary. If I did, but it gets kind of cold in Iowa. I don't like being cold. I hate it. Oh, I fucking hate it, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it. So wherever it's warm at, that's where I'm gonna be. I prefer to be hot as opposed to being cold. I hate it. Venue. Okay. Well, it would kind of be. It would kind of be. You can waive. You can waive your challenge to improper venue if you don't. If you don't. Yeah, you can call in, Gary. Go ahead and call in. If you don't raise the objection in regards to improper venue, then they're gonna say you waived it. You know, they look at it like it's not really that serious because the venue is improper. The court still even though the court still has jurisdiction to adjudicate that case, venue was improper because the rights violation did not happen in the venue in which that court could properly exercise jurisdiction. Like, for example, let's say County Court 1 and County Court 2. Let's say your rights was violated in County Court 2 and you try to sue in County Court 1. You can't do that. In the same state, you can't do that. So they'll transfer it from County Court 1 to County Court 2 because that would be the proper venue. That would be the proper court to adjudicate the case, if that makes sense. Just when you call into the show, y'all, you just press 1 and we can just go from there. I'm not sure. Give me probably either by the end of this month or probably the end of next month. I'm gonna go ahead and just get me another computer because, like I've been saying, I have an $800 camera that I just can't use because this computer is not strong enough. So I'm streaming on my cell phone from right now. So I'll get another computer to be stronger. That way, the quality of my videos will be a lot better. Let's see who on the lines. When you call into if you call into the show, you have to press 1, and it'll place you into the queue, and that way, me and you can talk. So if you call into the show, just press 1. So I got information that no one has called me. Just tried to call you. Looks like I got. Well, I don't have nobody with their hand up. I have somebody on the. I have some people on the line, but nobody has their hand up. So when you call in, press 1. Press 1 and I'll turn your microphone on. Okay. Did any of y'all get a chance to watch my video about what is it? A traffic stop is an arrest. Did any of y'all watch that video? There's 2 of them, part 1 and part 2. Any of y'all watch that video? I'm working on a common law lawsuit right now. I'm still doing a little study, and I pretty much think I understand it overall on a scale of 1 to 10. How much did I understand it? I think I'm at probably about an 8 right now because all of this shit is just the same thing for real. It's pretty much the same thing. They're just calling it different stuff. So I got some time to litigate that. I mean, I got some time to finish drafting the lawsuit, so I'm gonna draft it and see what I can come up with, and I'll let y'all know. Okay, caller 4066. Good afternoon. Well, good evening. How you doing?
Yeah, this is Gary from Davenport.
Oh, how you doing? How you doing, Gary?
I got information that nobody has, and I gave it to Ahmed Osiris and Rich W. I've been doing research on child support for 6 years.
Okay.
I'm pretty knowledgeable.
Okay.
But pretty much, you seem to be
Okay.
But what I'm doing is to defeat the child support, every guy has to bond together, like the women's advocates, because without bonding together and pulling for each other in every town, we're not going to win. I've had a child support hearing 2 times, and I brought up the fact that this is what they're supposed to do. This is the law. This is their guidelines from federal. They have to do this. And right away, the child support advocate who advocates for child support will say, he's bringing in information that's not relevant. I said, no, everything about child support is relevant. You are told by the ABA to say this in court, because the ALJs are hired by the head of Iowa's department to represent them, and no matter what happens, they find in favor. It doesn't. We just don't have a leg to stand on, because they always say you owe a debt to the United States. Well, Title 4A, only if the mother signs on to it, and it always says both parties got to agree. But a non-Title 4D child support is not a debt to the United States, because she's not drawing any money from the state. She's drawing money from, she's just giving them the ability to collect. And if the mother doesn't ask for the license restrictions and passport restrictions, they presume she wants it. I won $14,000 on casino. Okay, they took that because the casino is a contractor out of the third-party contract percent laws. They're a third party, so they have to do that because they got a business license. Mm-hmm. But I told them I ain't signing no paperwork. It sat dormant for 6 months until I defeated child support, and the only way I defeated it was because of my disability. They can't touch disability. So right now I don't have any child support. I'm being taken care of. My kids are being taken care of by the second account through disability, which nobody knows, which I found out because I asked the questions. I said, wait a minute. My kids are getting money through my account, and you're telling me I don't have a right to know what she's spending the money on? Well, no. That's what the ABA has told you people to do. You show me a law that says legitimate Congress law, okay? Legitimate law that says I don't have the right to know what she's doing with that money that I put in. They always do, they blah, 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 they don't want to do it right now. I mean, Social Security for a rehearing, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, under 2009, Bill Clinton signed an executive order. Executive order don't apply to us, but it applies to the government businesses and the people who work for them. Mm-hmm. They say an obligor is a federal employee. And I told him, I wrote a letter, and I said, oh, wait a minute. I'm not an employee of the federal government. Why are you keep telling me I receive benefits from the government? Only employees receive benefits. I did this from 1976, put money into my account. Nowhere did it ever say a benefit until 1980, when you people changed the wording from an investment, a security investment, to benefits. Well, when you know the law and you know what you're talking about, they get confused. I have a birth certificate. It's just on a white piece of paper. Mine says USA in small letters. Everybody after 1974 created a bond certificate. They are the holders. We are the beneficiaries. Okay? Mm-hmm. It doesn't apply to me because because it says any birth certificate that is made before 1974 is not acceptable. So they can't use that, but they use it because we're not knowledgeable. So, and they made a statute in there that says child support was directly made for males to pay, period. And if a statute does not have anything in there that says that, it doesn't apply. Like they have a statute saying, let's say you got to go for daycare, for instance.
Okay.
Okay, daycare is specific, is programs. Okay, when the mother signs up, they direct the mother where to go into their daycare system. Okay, and private daycare system. It's federally funded. That's the only way they can come after you is if it's federally funded.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And mothers they don't care. Huh?
I agree.
Okay. It's appropriation funding under grants, and grants are not refund. They don't have to pay that grant back. People don't understand what the meaning of a grant. For instance, people get school loans, housing. Those are all grants, which you got to pay a loan, and it's by consent. And it's supposed to be $40,000, but the ABA brought it down to $5,000. Then they brought it down to $2,500. Now it's $500. Iowa is a mother state, period. You're having a hard time. But when I go into court and they try to put me in contempt, I tell them, well, how are you going to put me in contempt when I'm defending myself? I have the right to defend myself. Under the First Amendment, my writing and my speech is freedom of speech, freedom of reading, freedom of expression. You can't put me in contempt of court. I've never gave them information on my wages or anything.
All that stuff is.
I don't have to. So,
All of that stuff is voluntary. Man. It's all voluntary. When you go, it's all of that stuff is voluntary. All of it is. Going to court is voluntary. Huh?
Yeah, but men don't understand that. For some reason, when they pull down their zipper to go to the bathroom, they don't see they have nuts. They don't have balls.
Well, you like this, to be honest with you, man, like you really need to be taught. You really need to be taught law for real, because I didn't know this stuff either until I actually started going to the law library, and I started opening these books and I started reading. That's the only way. That's when I learned this stuff. And then when I started to, and I used to watch videos online where people used to talk about this stuff, and it was very interesting for me. So I would say, you know what, the next time I get a traffic ticket or whatever, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna try this. And I would go down and I would try it. Of course, I would be nervous as hell, because the environment is intimidating because they have polices in there or whatever you want to call them, whatever. And they sheriff, police officers, whatever. They try to intimidate you and bully you into submission, but you just can't submit. You have to, if you're not willing to go to jail or even sometimes die, then this shit is not for you. Because these people, they don't play fair, man. They do not play fair, period.
The 1974 Privacy Act was designed to protect the mother's address, okay? If she was in the system for domestic violence, okay?
Okay.
One of the bigger things you guys have to understand that the mother is going to put an order of protection on you through hearsay. Without no element. There's 4 elements that they have to bring into court. It is witnesses, it is documentation, it is expert witness, and what was it? The other one? I always forget that one. But they need 4 elements. Even if they have 2 elements, it doesn't mean it. They have to have.
What do they need an expert witness
like
for?
An arrest.
What do they need an expert witness for to get a? are you saying that they need an expert witness to get a protection order against you?
Yeah, because they need a doctor to come in and say, yeah, we seen bruises on her. They need an expert witness that they examined her.
Yeah, I don't think they need no expert for that. I mean, they could. I mean, she could take pictures of. I don't mean to be argumentative or something like that, but I'm just trying to, based on my experience.
Right, there is pictures. They can have pictures, but it specifically says in the criminal code they need these elements.
Oh, that must be for Iowa then, because I don't even.
Basically, all criminal law.
I don't know. I don't think they need it in Alabama. I study a lot in Alabama. I study a lot in Alabama, and I don't think they need it in there. The only thing, I mean, a witness would suffice. A witness would be enough, in my opinion. Plus evidence of the alleged abuse or whatever. But I mean, that's really it. That's all that I think that they need.
And I advise fathers, as soon as they hear that the mother, well, I want to get a divorce. The next day or that day, if the court system run down and get temporary restraining order for the kids to be moved from the house, and you get custody.
Yeah.
You turn around and you're fair. And hey, they played dirty. We played dirty.
I don't. Me personally, I wouldn't. Well, I didn't used to do divorce cases for this reason right here. I used to do. I did a few divorce cases, a couple of them, but I always made sure that any of the clients that there were no kids or property involved, because I didn't know who was lying and who was telling the truth, and I don't want to be responsible for splitting kids up from their mother or their father. So I just didn't even touch those cases. But yeah, I do agree with you that the system, in regards to men, child support, it is biased. I don't think they really even care about the well-being of the kids. Me personally, behind closed doors or something, I think these people have a pecuniary interest in adjudicating child support matters or adjudicating your child dependent or something like that of the state. I think they are involved in human trafficking with these kids.
Well, that's what my document that I'll be putting in the court is going to be. I have an appointment down with the federal government down in Davenport. I'll be stepping in there and I'll be speaking my evidence that I have about human trafficking, that they participate in a funding program that relies on men to pay. And here's another thing. Child support say that the divorce decree or the decree that the judge writes gives them the elements to come in and get child support. Well, if they incorporate it into the document, now you have to learn what incorporate means.
Mm-hmm.
It means binding. Okay, it's binding. Anything in that divorce decree that they put in that you have to do, for instance, signing a passport to allow your kids to go outside the country. I never did. They locked me up for 3 days because I wouldn't do it. Because the judge had said, I have to, in the document, they said they had the authority to lock me up.
No, they don't. They can't make you do something you don't want to do. They don't even have all of that stuff. I don't care what type of so-called court it is. All of this shit is voluntary. Generally speaking, all of this is voluntary. They're all administrative agencies. Every single one of them. All of them are administrative agencies.
If you read the 1946 Administration Procedural Act, it states that in there. The best document that I read so far is that the Administrative Processing Act of 1946, the Administrative Procedural Act, and the 1974 Privacy Act, and the essential for lawyers and judges, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But there are other things coming out of Kansas. It says child custody for judges, okay? It's coming out of Nevada. They write it.
Okay.
It tells the judges to increase all child support orders as much as they can. They also say to prevent fathers to write documents and be active in this case, rule as a fictitious litigant. Well, that's blocking the court system for you. And I told him, I said, hey, look, you did this to me. I want to know what court found me guilty of doing that. You just can't put it in there because you want to bring the next court system to say that I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm. These
Specifically says in there, if I have a grievance with the government or somebody, I can come to the court and get adjudication. This is what I'm doing. I stay away from sovereign citizen stuff because it's going to only label you.
It's, in my
Because
opinion.
I made a declaration.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because I made a declaration, an affidavit declaration of my status in America, because my birth certificate says America, doesn't say United States on it. After only 1974 says United States, mine says America. I am an American. And I made an affidavit saying that. And they found that somebody put me in their system saying I'm a terrorist against the government.
Yeah,
Because I speak out.
These people don't understand. Like on the so-called public side, what you see a court. It looks like a court. It functions like a court. So you can't really tell that it's not a court. On the private side, there are two capacities. You know what I'm saying? They're corporations, and a corporation is no different than a private citizen once they start tendering negotiable instruments and trading in commercial paper and shit like that. That's what they're doing privately. These people are private. Like, for example, the judge publicly, he might be so-called a judge, but privately, he may be a private contractor or something like that. These folks have some type of financial interest in these cases. And I don't know what type of interest it is. At least not now, I don't. But they have some type of financial interest in these cases.
These courts are mandatory to make money for the government.
I believe that.
They're mandatory to make money for the government. Now, I had a case about the passport. They couldn't hold it in administration. They took it up to this fake court, judicial court, the bigger courtroom with the flag and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same judge that sat on 3 months ago in an administrative hearing. I said, wait a minute, hold on. You do not have an oath of office to sit up here. No, yes. I said, no, you don't, because I have your oath of office right here, and I held it up. I said, you haven't had it in 5 years. So how can you be in here?
He's sitting in there as a private contractor. He's got to be sitting in there as some type of private contractor.
Capacity.
Yeah.
They can't. You know why? They can. You know why?
Why?
Under the definition of administrative law judge, it's because they are selected amongst a pool. They are not elected or appointed by Congress or the president. So therefore, they're what you call administration people. Like you said, administration. They have, and they're buying, and that's why they always say these courts, these judiciary lower courts are expected to violate the Constitution. Doesn't mean they hold the Constitution. Oh, they are expected. That's why they have bonds on themselves, insurance bonds. Because I've looked into it, I've done everything, and it seems like once you get the system involved, knowing what the system is, and read everything, it just falls into place. It falls right into place of what everybody says. But what I get frustrated with is when I ask people, not you, because you explained yourself, but other people, they say the same thing, but they have no evidence behind them to back up anything. most of them are saying the same things.
What are they saying? What do you
They're
mean?
not backing it up. Well, most of them are out in the Midwest. You know, all the child support people that they have. The only three people I will listen to is Ominous Osiris, because he pulled it out. He pulled everything out. And Rick W. He writes documents. If you heard of him or didn't heard him, I suggest people start reading it,
Okay.
because they both make sense. I've been talked about on their pages because, you know, I got a man out in Iowa, the name of and he poured the unconstitutional constitution. It is the administrative corporate side. They got a document called the unconstitutional and the unconstitutional administration. I got something like 1,600 books that I've made on this. I'll download it and make a book.
I'm convinced that in my opinion, this is just my opinion, y'all. And the only reason I say this is because it's a corporation. But I'm convinced that the United States Constitution is nothing but a charter. I think it's a charter.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
They're just calling it a constitution because, as a matter of law, that is what, in fact, a charter is. It's a constitution, even though it's not called constitution.
Right.
That's what it
No,
is.
it's a charter.
That's what I think it is. The United States is a corporation for the United States of America. They represent all of the so-called states collectively. They represent the states internationally. That's my understanding of it. That's what I think it is. And I don't even really have to do any research on this shit now, because it's just becoming so clear to me what the fuck is going on. Some of this shit is anyway. It's just becoming clear to me. And they're using these words like citizen to throw people off. And they're using these words: state of Georgia, state of Alabama, state of Iowa, state of Mississippi, state of Florida, to confuse people, to make them think that it's really the state doing this shit, when it's really a corporation called the state of, which is filing these lawsuits against people. These folks are filing lawsuits against you.
That is 100% right.
They're filing lawsuits against people.
Though,
and they're trying to get a judgment, so once they get a judgment, they're trying to file a lien against your ass. That's what they're doing.
right. Each state is an individual country.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And they have their own constitution. And because people are growing up to believe that we only have 50 states, we actually have 101 states, because the federal constitution carries in all the states, and the state constitution applies in all the states. Where there's a problem is the full face credit. Okay, they say the full face credit for child support could be taken in all interstate commerce. Okay. Well, if we go into court and we argue the fact that the Interstate Family Act is applied in every state, and child support is applied in every state, and you must apply child support from an outside state and enforce it, then why can't I use Pennsylvania, Iowa, Ohio, Alabama laws, because it's full face credit?
I think I get what you're saying. The fact that go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because they use that word full face credit, it binds the other states to the other states to enforce it, because they both get appropriation funding for everything. So they have to enforce that order. But yet, if you heard what I said before, the child support advocate said he's bringing in law that don't apply. No, everything applies with child support. And I made the judge put it on the record that my evidence applies to child support, because the 1933 House Resolution Act, okay, specifically says the United States cannot be the caregivers of the people. If it was to be a caretaker of the people, it would collapse. So they made the Administration Act of 1946 to bypass that, because they say the Constitution don't apply in contract laws, which is true, contract laws, but here's where people are failing. When they say the mother has the right to do anything, travel, okay, she has the right to travel with the kids. They're citing Constitution. They're not citing administration. You follow me?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
One of the big cases they bring out is Trucksville versus Granville. All parents have the right to care, nurture, and support their children. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The key word in there is parents. With the S at the, it doesn't say parent, doesn't say single parent, it says parents. So that means, why am I being ousted? Well, it goes back from day one. When she files for divorce or file custody for the kids or whatever, especially when you're married, they use the word irreconcilable differences. Well, if you look that up, it says you cannot defend against that. So therefore, the other lawyer is not going to fight that, except you. Because you're not a lawyer.
I don't know. I don't really, when I was doing divorce cases, I didn't really, most of my divorce cases was no contest or none. Well, I forgot what they call that shit. But anyway, because I don't have time, I know people don't really have a lot of money to pay me to litigate this case for them. And I didn't really want to, like I said, I didn't really want to split their mother and father and kids up and shit like that. I don't know who's lying or who's telling the truth. So most of my cases, they were just like that. They didn't even fight the cases. There was just no contest, none of that. So I really don't. I mean, I could study it to where I can learn it, but I just know this. None of these people, none of these so-called judges have any authority unless you give it to them to tell you what the fuck you can and cannot do with your kids. Your kids are your property. Now, I've heard people say that kids aren't your property. That's sovereign citizen bullshit or whatever. Okay, well, if your semen is your property, how the fuck are your kids not your property? If a woman's if a woman's ovaries, if a woman's
document. There's a document that you can pull out. It says children are not your property from Yale. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say it is because it's a product of marriage. Okay. Iowa even says that in their piece of paper that I brought up, that it is property.
Yeah, I mean, your kids are your property. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. They are an extension of your. They come from you. How can your kids not be your property if your semen is your property, but your kids are a byproduct of your semen? So that shit doesn't make sense to me.
Well, they're using the Slavery Act. When you use property in that sense, they're referring back to the way the times when slavery was.
I wasn't referring to it in that sense. That might be what they're doing. I don't give a fuck what they talking about. I'm talking about, what I'm talking about. Kids, offspring, that's what I'm talking about. SG, what's up, SG? SG says don't call them children. It's illegal to. It probably is, SG, and they probably construed it into some statute in some code somewhere. They are seed. I would agree with that, SG. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I call my children. I'll first start off as I called my offspring children just for this purpose because it's in the statutes. Okay, but I do not recognize my children as children per se, the way it's used in the statutes.
Yeah, I don't.
Mine is offspring.
Yeah, I would
And
say
make it clear.
I would say seed or offspring or a byproduct of my biological DNA or some shit like that, something. Because these people they think they slick, man, when they start construing all of these damn words that you don't know what the hell they talking about. But you think you know, but you don't know what they talking about. And they get on my damn nerves.
Well, it specifically says in the it says Ruth Nader Ginsburg statement about pro se litigants. Those who come before the court is expected to abide by the court. How can he do that when the courts don't do it?
Why? I think the correct word would be why would you do that when the courts don't do it? Because I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why that case that I was. I'm sorry to cut you off. I wanted to talk about this right quick. That case, what is it? I think Kemp versus Arnold or Arnold versus Kemp or something like. I got to do some more research on it. I haven't looked back into the docket yet to check and see what was filed. But that dude has a sound argument. Contract law trumps the Constitution, and he's saying that these judges are not immune because they have a social compact, i.e., the Constitution, to protect him from they have a constitution. Well, I ain't gonna say to protect him, but to I have to go back and read what the hell he said because I forgot what he said. But he's absolutely right. I think he's right.
Well, you can find that in Harlot versus Rose. That's the information that he's citing.
I agree. It's in he
go ahead. All courts are bound to protect each party's constitutional rights.
Yeah, they trustees. They don't have a choice. And SG, you're right. A marriage is a contract. It's between the three persons. I call them persons. It's between the state, your person, and your wife's person. It is a contract. And
well, you still know what the word person means, though.
Yeah, I know what it means.
Okay, I don't use person. I always put my last name, Williamowski, or Gary Williamowski, party between Gary Williamowski and the ex-wife's name. Because if you don't mention, they say if you don't mention the party's name in the document, there's no party.
Well, I would put like I would title myself like as an act of God or something like that, because I mean I think that's a broad definition. I think that also, even though you didn't say it, it implicitly lets them know that you're not a fucking heathen. It lets them know that you, to a certain degree, it lets them know that you know what's going on. Because they playing these fucking word games with people, man. They get on my fucking nerves with these damn word games. That's all it is, y'all. They playing a word game, man. That's all they doing. They playing a word game.
The majority of, and every time I cite something, I use a word, I'll put the definition. I got every document that I insert, I always have definitions of where it's found, where I'm using it, because they have to do it. It specifically says they have to put the definition of what they're using, what they don't. For the word, the best ones that I've had an argument against them word was when they use in the best interest of the state, or in the best interest of the child, or best interest of the state, best interest of the child. Those are my thoughts, and I tell them that. Those are my thoughts. Can you prove to me where it says in the statute it's the best interest of the children? Only a psychiatrist can do that. It's a mind thought. It's actus reus and what's that? Actus reus.
I forgot what the men. I think it's mens rea. I think.
Yeah, mens res and actus reus. Okay, it's all about your thought. That's why they say I'm in Davenport right now. My friend's buddy's in jail for 6-7 months. We got him out, but now they want to go and have him tested by a state because they want to make sure they protect his constitutional rights.
Yeah.
But we told him, no, don't, because what they're doing is they're trying to do a mindset because they need him on that stand to testify against the mother, okay? But that opens up the back door for the state to come in and question it. We don't want that. We want the witness for the state to come up and present the evidence that they have. Without the evidence, they have shit.
Okay. Well,
That's the problem.
We go. I think we've been talking about this for probably about 20 minutes now. We'll change the subject. We'll let somebody else come on. But thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you can call me anytime. Call me anytime if you want. If you want to touch on that information I got. And last thing I'll say, and I'll hang up, is Yale has a good law system, and they make a lot of documents about child support and child custody. That's where I do mainly on my reading.
I don't like dealing with none of this shit in these administrators. This is what they look, y'all. What they're doing is all of this shit that used to exist at common law, they're codifying this into their jurisdiction. That's what they're doing. And then they are depositing subject matter jurisdiction into these administrative agencies that they call courts to adjudicate this shit. That's what they're doing, y'all. That is what they're doing. That's exactly what the fuck they doing, y'all. That's it. That's it. This child support is, at common law, of course you have to take care of your kids at common law. You know what I'm saying? But they've changed this shit from one jurisdiction to another. It's not common law jurisdiction. It's not, because it's a fucking statute in there.
Right.
Admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutes and codes. It's admiralty.
Right, but when you start using that stuff, they'll label you as a sovereign citizen.
No, idiot. But they can label me all the fuck they want. They might as well label some of their colleagues as sovereign citizens too, because that's who told me this shit in the court cases.
And that's what I tell them. I said the only sovereign citizen in this room right now is the lawyer and you. You're the sovereign citizen because they say you are immune. You're a sovereign citizen.
Yeah, well, you have a right to be free. See, in a democracy, you don't really have that right, to a certain extent. You don't really have the right to be free from the law. But in a republic, you do. These folks cannot come on private property and tell you can't smoke weed. This is your fucking property. This is your house. This is that weed that you bought, that good ass weed that you bought. That's private property. And if they take that from your ass, you should be able to file a lawsuit against their ass, because that is private property. You took that without any lawful purpose whatsoever. How the fuck does the Constitution not apply to me, which is the supreme law of the whatever state I'm in or whatever, but a statute does? And the statute is inferior to the Constitution. It's it made no sense, man. These folks full of shit, man. They full of it, man. I'm sorry for cussing. I got a little potty mouth or whatever, but you right, SG. It's not you. But look, I gotta thank you for calling in, Gary. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna let somebody else.
Well, you got my number.
All right, take care, man.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's crazy, y'all. Let me turn this. I forgot to turn this phone. Yeah, okay. Anyway, y'all, it makes no sense, y'all. No sense. None. But that's what they're doing, y'all. They file lawsuits against. It's all these folks have no lawful authority to do any of this shit to you. All of it. It seems like it's just a whole bunch of damn presumptions. It's like 1 million damn presumptions when you go to court. It's so many of them, you don't know which one to rebut. It's so many of them. Let me go back to the chat and see who's got questions in here. Why they do not teach the history, hence the statue of our forefathers, or the teardrop memorial donated by Russia after 9/11, who in 1812 were here fighting the British, missing 13th Amendment. I've heard about the 13th. I think I was reading a case, and they were talking about this is in regards to the original 13th Amendment, to Robert, by the way. But they were talking about how I forgot where they were, but they didn't really, the term attorney, they were very contempt towards that term attorney. They didn't really like it. I don't know why. It's in my video, attorney versus counsel, where I explained to y'all when I'm reading y'all the case that is telling you the distinction between an attorney and counsel. That's why if you read your state constitution and the federal constitution, the word attorney is not used there. Y'all know these people do not pick these words by mistake, because it's a difference between them. These people don't pick these damn words by mistake. That almost never happens. I don't think it ever happens, in my opinion. Let's see. SG saying with letting inspectors onto your property, violating Fourth Amendment case law on where health inspectors. I agree with you on that, Robert. The health inspector is coming in to inspect your property. That's a fucking administrative agency. They all administrative agencies. All of them are administrative agencies. Every damn one of them. All of them are administrative agencies. All of them. And I don't know if I explained this to y'all before, but administrative agent, like all three branches of government are administrative agencies, but they're not administrative agencies of the legislature. They're administrative agencies of the sovereign people who gave them permission to do what the fuck they're doing. They're all administrative agencies, y'all. And there are, I guess I'll consider administrative agencies a part of the government. I don't consider them lawfully a part of the government or a branch of government. But so if we were to say that there are 5 branches of government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, those are 3. The administrative agencies, which they're exercising all 3 of those powers. And then you have the sovereign, which is the people. The people are a coordinate part of the government. That's why the government can't do shit unless they get the permission from the people to do it. So when these judges sit on these benches and they tell you you're not sovereign, if that were me, I would be like, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Because it sounds like that this court is of the opinion that the people whom he solicited their permission from to hold this public office are not sovereign. Can you state that in the negative or the affirmative on the record in this court for me, Your Honor? If that motherfucker say you not sovereign, he automatically forfeit his privilege to hold that office. You can drag him. You should be dragging his ass out of that office right then and there. Because how we're not sovereign, but we created this office that you're sitting in. We created this title that you have, so-called judge. That's a title. We gave you that title. Anyway, man, when you understand sovereignty, all of this stuff will make perfect sense. It will make perfect sense when you understand sovereignty. Below your title, get a building permit, bye-bye forth. It's voluntary. I think this is what I think people are doing based off the research that I've read. People are in exchange for protection. They are negotiating their rights away for privileges. You know, the privilege of being like if something happens to your water supply or something like that, and you get what is this? JR, what's good, JR? Hey, JR, call into the show if you got time, man, so we can go ahead and talk about your case. I'm glad you're here, man. Call in if you don't mind. I'm gonna post the call-in number into the chat. Again, pensions, office, or emolument of any kind, whatever, from any of her king, prince, or foreign power, such a person shall cease to be a citizen. Okay, we stand as the 14th Amendment. Citizens, United States shall be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them or either of them. What is that you posting, Robert? Okay, Joe, it's cool, man. It's cool. It is what it is. Well, we can. How much time you got? If you got 10 or 15 minutes, that's cool. You still can call in. I forgot what I was talking about, y'all. I'm sorry. I lost my damn train of thought. But I think people are trading in their unalienable rights for privileges voluntarily, even though they don't know that they're doing it. But that's what they're doing. At least that's what I think they're doing. Looks like the original 13th Amendment. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like in the case that I read, attorney versus counsel, attorneys could not speak in court. They couldn't file paperwork and they couldn't make arguments. Only counsel could do that. So here's what I think they did. I told y'all that they brought most of this stuff over. They brought most of this stuff over from the jurisdiction of common law into their jurisdiction. But since it's in their jurisdiction, meaning since they have the privilege granted to them by the sovereign people of wherever they were, whether it be Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Wyoming, Texas, whatever, since they have their privilege granted to them, they've modified the office of counsel and attorney, and they've merged the two offices together. So now they're serving two. Now both of the offices are serving all of the functions in one, so to speak, if that makes sense. That's what I think they did. Now, if this was common law, if these were actions at law, then you wouldn't have an attorney in there. You would have counsel in there. You can get a certified copy of that from Colorado. That's what they're doing, man. That's what they do. Let me see if I got anybody with their hand up. Is anybody litigating any case right now? This is what was passed in Articles 1, thing 9. It somewhat talks about a little of it, I found, but you have to dig. Same thing with the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Yeah. That's what they did, man. They brought everybody over into their jury. I think Yusuf is right. If you're watching and you haven't hit that like button yet, please hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button for me. One word. What's going on, bro? You did a video on my case. Okay, I'm the plaintiff. I got your email. We're gonna have to work. Man, you need to call me. Shit, let me put my number in the chat. Can you call in? Yeah, I sent you an email. Can you call in, man? We need to talk about that. Well, if you don't want to talk about it, because if you don't want to really, if you don't want to discuss your defense on the air, that's cool. Then we'll have to talk about it. Yeah, check me out when you got time, man. I sued 2 police officers in federal court, and I won my case. I would have took it to trial, but I didn't trust the district judge. I didn't trust her, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go and settle this. Calling now. Okay, cool, man, cool. I'll be right back, y'all. Let me go and get me something to drink right quick. I think I got thirsty. 717. I got 2 people on the line. I don't know who's who. I'm on the call. Okay, JR on the call. Dang, I got two people calling in now. Damn, JR. Okay, Wine and Herb in the Constitution. What number are you calling from? Is it that 717 number? Or is it a 262 number? Let me go and get me something to drink right quick, y'all. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Y'all press 1 if you want to talk. Just press 1, and then we can just go from there. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to get me something to drink, man. 262, okay. JR, okay, that's the 262, JR. Damn, let me talk to the other guy first, JR. I'm gonna go live again, probably about 1 or 2 more times this week. I'm gonna go live again, and then we can just we'll chop it up, JR. I need to talk to this other guy right quick. Okay, let me see. All right, caller 2664. You're on the line. How you doing?
I'm sorry, I was trying to put my hand down so you can talk to JR first. Mine's kind of a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you put your hand down once you already got it up?
You just press 1. Just press 1. That's all you got to do.
I pushed it again, it wouldn't do it. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll make it quick.
Okay.
If you have let's say you have a court appearance, and you wanna be able to, I guess you're supposed to get notice that you plan to appeal. How do you go about doing that?
I mean, in my opinion, it's best to already draft up your notice of appeal and have everything you need before the trial even start, because they gonna drag their feet. They probably gonna railroad you. Probably gonna lose all that shit. Depends on where you are. But the way you do that is you have to look in your rules of if it's civil, you need to look in your rules of civil procedure, or if it's criminal, you need to look in your rules of criminal procedure. And all of this shit looks the same. You can just title it "Notice of Appeal comes now pursuant to a rule, blah blah blah." The name, to appeal the above style cause, blah blah blah. You make sure you have the case number in there, the title of the case, the right court name, and you just sign it, and that's it. Generally speaking, that's how it works. That's pretty much it. They might require you to post some type of appeal bond or something like that, but that's it.
Okay. All right, I'll read over that then. The other, when you're talking about the attorney and
Counsel.
and lawyer, counsel difference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where if it was something I read or something I was listening to. They were talking about how a licensed attorney can't be present in a court of actual law, like a common law court. And I believe it has to do with the fact that they have a license to be an attorney, because a common law court still goes by the original 13th Amendment, which outlaws titles of nobility.
Probably so.
From licenses.
It may be so. You can
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So if an attorney is present in the court, you can ask to have it removed. Or if the judge is a member of the bar association, I think it might be a similar rule with that, but I'm not totally sure about that. But the attorney can't be present in a common law court.
It's not, the cases are not tried under common law jurisdiction. It's admiralty. I'm 100% sure that it's admiralty. admiralty because admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutes and codes. It's admiralty. So what they did was they merged the common law office of counsel with the office of attorney. They merged the two offices or the two duties together in their jurisdiction, which is admiralty. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and it comes from what I understand, it comes down to when you first make an appearance, quote unquote, and they ask certain questions to verify that they have proper jurisdiction, which is
they're going to always assume
subject matter.
Yeah, they're going to always.
That's what I'm getting at. Is once you break the presumption that you are a 14th Amendment citizen and that you're standing as a living man, that lets them know that they can't treat you as a person.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's why it's
that judge can. When they say the judges have different hats, they don't have to say, okay, well, we're going from statutes to common law. They just automatically do it. But at that point, if that attorney's still present, you can have them removed. It comes down to the person the man or woman that's in the court, making it known that they're there as a man and not as a person or a woman. Well, I don't know if folks in common law.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But they're probably not going to honor that because they don't want to know. They don't want to alert a lot of people as to what is really going on. So they're probably not going to honor it. But I get.
I think that starts with your original complaint or bill of particulars, where you're essentially giving them notice. So once you word it properly in there, they already know how you're coming to the court. So it's no surprise once you get there.
Yeah, you need to have all of that paperwork before, just file it before you go in there, because they're gonna make all types of presumptions, and they're gonna assume that the record is true. That's case law, and they're just gonna assume that everything that happened in the court was true, and they're gonna assume the court had jurisdiction. They're gonna assume that the court did everything right. That's what they're gonna do.
Treason, and that's based on your minimum context. You have to rebut those presumptions. I think things go better when you rebut them in writing ahead of time, because that attorney has time to get out of things. They have their bonds that they got to protect. So if you're already in court and you're trying, you're bringing this stuff out of nowhere, they're going to fight you to the end because they're going to lose money. But anyway, I'm gonna get off the phone so JR can talk.
Okay. Give me go ahead. I was talking to another call. I'm tripping. Go ahead, man. Thank you for calling in.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right. Okay. Okay, 470. Give me about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna let you on. Let me talk to JR right quick. Give me about 5 minutes to talk to JR, and then I'll connect the call with you. What's going on, JR? How you doing, man? Let me see. Caller 5416. JR, he probably be gone. I did tell him to wait, so he's probably gone. Yeah, it's cool if you're gone, JR. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the microphone off. I can't hear you. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the other caller. Caller 2516. 2516. How you doing?
What's that?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Look, you did a video on one of my specific cases. All BK.
Yeah. Okay, so that's you. Okay, what's up, man?
Yes, indeed. Hey, look, we gonna have to collaborate. We gonna have to work. I did look at your specific case. I did kind of, scan through some of your videos, and I can say that you kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
And that's pretty much 98% of people that's coming through these courts don't necessarily have. So yeah, man, we definitely gonna have to do some work. But yeah, I seen you do a video. You kind of passed my link. I wanted you to go to my specific website, man, because you know what I'm doing. I think it's highly important because these, the stuff that I'm going through right now pretty much will have a significant impact.
Hell yeah, I agree. I get the big picture. I see it. I see it.
Yes, indeed, man. So, for your people on here, man, it's a lot of people that are still, hollering about that, 14th Amendment, sovereign citizen, things like that. I'm not a person, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, let me just tell you, man, pretty much every specific thing that got something to do with something about law that excluded mortgages, and it's just because I don't want to know, I pretty much done figured out all of that in the code, pretty much every single specific law, obscurity, all that.
It's all BS, man. It's all BS, man. All this stuff BS, man. Go ahead.
This thing is so much deeper than anybody can possibly imagine. You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
You may be right about the apparatus court. Because if you start talking about things like, let's just say an individual wants to hop into the juror capacity, over a de facto officer, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start going into the Act of 1871. And then you start, you continue to keep talking, you might get a drone flying by.
Man, look. They ain't gonna never. Go ahead, my bad, man.
Go ahead.
What I was gonna say, man, you look. They're never going to tell you what the hell happened on the record. They're gonna call you crazy. They're gonna call you a sovereign citizen.
Right.
You say.
Right. So man, it's a lot of people that that's pretty much what I did on my page. For a lot of people that don't know my case, people that's in right now listening to you, who gonna listen to later. I've been pretty much alleged in the state of Georgia that these people are trying to basically take my breath away from me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So this is pretty much for another matter. So what I have done is basically, I've housed state-created danger claims up under First Amendment grievance claims.
Okay.
So pretty much the case of Deshani, I believe, has already made a physical precedent that says that the state has no duty to protect the public. However, the state does have a duty to protect a member of the public from state-created danger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So pretty much what I've said is basically these individuals have tried to conspire to imprison me, use that imprisonment as a pretext to try to, I believe, do something nefarious. So I've housed those claims upon the state-created danger. That's actually case precedent that states that prisons are dangerous places. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much speaking a legal term and legalese, but that's my specific case. But
it's got merit, bro. I ain't even read it over, but it's got merit. It has merit, but it's so controversial. But I'm surprised the judge ain't recused his damn self.
Oh yeah, trust me. The judge, one of the judges named who's named as a federal defendant.
She recused herself. One of them did.
Yeah. She recused herself. She got in the case. She just so happened to be the judge who was, let's just say, magically confirmed as a federal judge right around the time that I was, about to prove that the entire municipal courts in the state of Georgia was unconstitutional. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of things going on, but going back to that 14th, let me go back to that 14th Amendment system. But let me tell you exactly, pretty much how I was. I one time did believe in it, but these crooks right now listening, they pretty much probably understand now that I was only using that sovereign citizen language to hide how smart I was. You get what I'm saying? So now look what I'm alleged.
Yeah.
So if I want to tell anybody anything, I want to tell you exactly why that 14th Amendment citizen stuff is actually nonsense. So, let's just think about this, right? There's a lot of people who say they are Moors
or Indian people. They're on this land before the actual Europeans or the Caucasian Americans came over here and set up their actual organization. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go because I still haven't significantly studied that part, so I don't know the real intentions of Abraham Lincoln and how he had to actually pretty much create a new form of government in order to bring African American free slave individuals into the protection of the United States government. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now let me stop right there. I'm pretty sure you have read John Locke's treaty, John Locke's second treaty.
I don't think so, but I might have heard something. I don't really remember. But if you start talking about it, I might come up with something. I don't know.
So this guy's name is John Locke. He's let's just say a famous scholar. Pretty much they still quote him in case law today.
Okay.
He's the individual who came up with the notion called state-created danger. I'm gonna break this down for you because I know you understand law. So
Okay.
as soon as I break this down for you in these brief little few seconds,
Okay.
you're gonna have a full understanding about why I'm saying what I'm saying and people who are listening as well.
Okay.
So it's a thing called state-created danger. And John Locke speaks about not state-created danger, but state of nature, right?
Okay.
John Locke speaks about the state of nature. Now he says that pretty much everybody is born into this world in the state of nature. However, when individuals get together and decide to form a civilized society, then they are consenting to form that civilized society. You know what I'm saying? All right, so now, if they're consenting to form that civilized society, let's go back to what all these scholars like to say. Well, I don't consent. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing they do is poke the Constitution. I don't consent. You don't have jurisdiction over me. 42 U.S.C. 1983, things like that, right? So now, you said something that I came in right when you were saying it. It's basically, and the funny thing is, you said this is what I think it is. It's like, it's a privilege, right? It's a protection from the government.
Yeah, it is.
So,
it is.
That's what people like to say. If you accept the privileges and benefits of government, you are basically doing what? Consenting to be governed.
And you waiving your sovereignty. It's like you waiving your right, or your unalienable right, or some shit like that. That's what it is. You bargaining.
But no. Let me tell you how genius this shit is, right?
Okay.
Because this is why I'm still stuck on the fence about what Abraham Lincoln did and why he had to create this government. You got to understand something. The southern states pretty much were trying to hold on to their sovereignty and state that, hey, you can't do none of this what you're trying to do, Abraham Lincoln. We're going to keep these people down here. We're going to keep on, whooping their ass. We're going to keep on, just watching. But he came up with a genius plan, you know what I'm saying? And this was to actually bring people who did not have that protection under the Constitution into his protection, into the protection of government.
Okay.
Now, you cannot bring pretty much a inside a what you can, but it's pretty much like that case of Children versus George, where they said that basically they were pretty much a sovereign community, but they were a ward of the. You know what I'm saying? Because how were they a ward? Because they were receiving the protection from a bigger sovereign.
Okay. Okay.
John Locke's second treaty, in which he said that individuals are in a state of nature, but however, they get together to form a civilized society. Within this civilized society in the United States of America, we form the Constitution that says the people are sovereign. However, all right is inherited to the people, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. How are the people consenting to be governed? You are consenting to be governed just by being in this civilized society and depending on the government protection. So when an individual goes to court and says that the state court does not have jurisdiction over him, and he immediately quotes the United States Constitution, the judge now wants you to have a psychological operation because he cannot understand why somebody wants the protection of our specific government, however, claims himself sovereign. The the term sovereign citizen. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So pretty much, this pretty much that the protection is the privileges and benefits of the society. But now this is how genius is. This is how genius is, right? This is what I'm alleging in my specific case. What I'm saying is I have invoked the protection for obedience doctrine. Now this is actually in the Georgia Constitution and a United States case law. The Supreme Court has said this, I believe, in 1970. I think it's Carlisi versus United States. And it said that the obligation of obedience is in return for the protection the citizen receives. So I'm saying it again. A person comes into society consenting to be governed. That consent pretty much is the privileges and benefits because you need the protection of government. That's pretty much why you came out of the state of nature where there were no judges, where there was no legal system. So you formed a government for that protection. Now the government has to protect you in return for your obedience.
Yeah.
It's law. Right? So guess what? You have the constitutional right. No law can infringe upon your constitutional rights. So you're still sovereign in a sense. A lot of individuals go to court and they're just generally alleging, I don't consent. But you don't have that intellectual capacity to know how to say, well, as applied to me, these specific laws violate my constitutional rights because of A, B, and C. They stopped that shit in the 1960s when the Rothschilds took over the education system. You know what I'm saying?
Dumbed everybody down, boy. Made everybody dumb.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? So now what I look at it, how I see it now is, okay, so pretty much these people have formed a society and they gave the people the power, and pretty much a person is not even obligated to follow the laws of a specific state if that state is not providing you the protection.
Yeah, you have
that state.
you have a right. They call it a right of revolution. You have that doesn't just apply in Georgia. That's everywhere. They should expect that. You can't expect somebody to be obedient.
It's pretty much not the. It's pretty much. I wouldn't go that far because I'ma just say right now, you pretty much have the right to I'm not even gonna say revoke your consent because if you revoke your consent, then pretty much you're pretty much like Russia. Let's think of it as an estate. That your whole entire body is like the entire state of Russia. The Russian, Vladimir Putin is not going to come in and quote the United States Constitution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Vladimir Putin, he's sovereign and can nobody touch him. So it's pretty much why a viral video went viral on the internet, which the judge said he really got tired of the sovereign citizen nonsense and said, if you people think you're sovereign, then why do you come here?
Exactly.
Why do you quote the Constitution? Why you even show up to court?
They don't understand though. They don't understand.
Right. So what I want to get out is to kind of let people know your consent is based on your right to receive protection from the government.
It's conditioned on that right. It's conditioned on that right.
Yeah. So let's just say you want to revoke that. Then now what you gonna do? You can't sue a name. You can't be sued a name, and you might just have a government who insists.
So
that you consent.
What you did, I like the way you did yours. I like the way you did. I like the way you did yours. You basically used everything that they established in the state of Georgia against their ass, and they really don't have a leg to stand on because you have the facts. You have alleged all of the prerequisite elements of the facts that you need to support your reason and justify your disobedience, your lawful rebellion or your lawful disobedience to them, because they forfeited in regards to you. They forfeited your social compact against you. It seems like they just forfeited that shit when they abandoned their their magisterial duties, because they all magistrates, all them motherfuckers.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So they pretty much just said, you know what? But you got to think about something, man. It don't matter. This is why if a lot of people don't understand the significance of what they're saying and what they're doing, and things like that. They don't have pretty much a foundational understanding. I have pretty much a foundational understanding of this that I can't even understand why government is the way it is. So it's a way that things have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I could act like the rebel and the revolutionary and go crazy right now, but that ain't gonna get me anywhere. That's just gonna make the enemy smile because now they can just go to their news station and say, hey, look,
he crazy.
N-word.
He crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna count them and take this shit all the way. And they gonna find out at the end of the day that the more you fuck around, the more you find out. And like I told you, the shit I got right now, that's just warming up the stove. And pretty much this is what they know. It's a lot more intellect that I have and a lot more things that I'm doing, man, that I wanna kind of break out. In regards to the entire family court system. This all occurred when a judge by the name of Brian Romero decided to take my child away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard of that.
Very wise words to him. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't heed to those words, and now we're here. You know what I'm saying? He's looking at a few years in prison, and the only way that he thinks is out of there is me out of here, and that just ain't gonna happen. There's a lot of spiritual things going on as well around
Straight
this
up.
Man, this just what it is. Like, the people do not have to just say, hey, I don't want to consent to be governed. This whole entire document is set up for your benefit. Like,
yeah, they trustees. They all trustees, man.
He's not going to provide the protection. Yeah. If you're not going to provide the protection, then however, you are breaching the contract.
Yeah.
These are not just, hell, I ain't going to follow the law. We like that. It's pretty much, okay, you have a reciprocating duty and you're not holding up the end of the bargain. So therefore, not that I do not want to follow the laws, I'm just going to go out here and break the laws for the other. What I'm saying is, your actions and your conduct has therefore annulled me any type of obligation of obedience to these laws. That's how this contract shit works.
That's exactly how it works, and they ain't got no immunity. They don't have no immunity, bro. Based on that argument, as a matter of law, they don't have no fucking immunity. None.
And the first thing that's in the Constitution, well, not the first thing, but one of the most important things in the Constitution is that word that says, no law shall have the obligations of contract.
It's over with, bro.
What do these individuals do the moment they take it off? The moment they swear in, take an oath off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right? A lot of people don't even know, well, what is a promise? If you go to the second contract,
it's a contract.
Second restatement of contract, a promise is a contract.
Yeah, I quoted that on my channel. I quoted it on my channel a couple of days ago.
Right. So, man, it's a lot of people that's kind of getting misconstrued the trust law. You got this little trust and this, that, and the third. It may be very well true. We may be in all around the hell. George Washington may have said we're underwater now, things like that. But we have to be realistic about the situation so we can get what we want. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of individuals right now, you may have the right to travel, but do you really think it's a smart thing to have a drunk driver driving
it ain't, bro.
down the road?
No.
With a booklet in his pocket that says the law's gonna apply to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Now, but when you dealing with a smart intellectual, such as a gentleman as yourself, when you dealing with intellectual people, you can say, well, you don't even necessarily have to argue the right to travel. We can pretty much restrict our rights for the benefit of the whole, but just say, hey, you want to go to the legislature and say you're not pulling us over for monetary gain anymore. And as a matter of fact, the only type of person who can get this specific, let's just say traffic tickets or arrests or individuals who are driving under the influence. You get what I'm saying? And you cover that by a specific vote. You get what I'm saying? But, that's what it is, man. These people know that, they dealing with, pretty much, things, nothing against electricians, but they dealing with
Yeah.
They're up in the high, damn towers and such, and they coming up with all the laws. And, I'm an individual man. You ain't gonna believe it. 4 years ago, I didn't know what the hell emotion was. Motherfucker told me, hey, you need to file a motion. What the hell is a motion? You know what I'm saying?
It's so
I didn't
easy,
know
man.
what motion was. But let me tell you what I did, man, because I keep God first in my heart, and everything I've done now should have never been done without God. That I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
And man, I started calling shit like this. I used to time myself. I'd roll up, spend about 2 minutes to say I want to break this whole Pacific thing, and he just gives to me right there. Then, man, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's a whole different feeling when you know. You get what I'm saying? You gotta look at the world differently, but you get a whole other sense of not responsibility, but just understanding,
Yeah.
overstanding. Like, well, damn, it's so fucked up. We ought to revolt, but no, that's not the plan. That's not.
It ain't enough people anyway, man. It ain't enough people.
You don't even need enough people. You just need the right person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you right. You right.
But you have to. It has to be smart people in position to actually move forward. You get what I'm saying? Like, I spoke to a lot of individuals that behind, that's politics and things like that. I've spoken to them. I did the little appearances. I did the little trying to let's just say making a petition with them and talking to the legislators saying, hey, this is what I think needs to happen. But it's all the strategic moves to how to do things. Even if you're trying to change a law, man, it's a pre-understanding of how these things are even done. And it's just you have to have that intellect to even understand how they can even be possible. We still got 98% of people out here, man, still fight traffic tickets. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they look at us and say, we might as well rule over them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't know what's going on anyway. Don't nobody want to go to jail. Who gonna fight a traffic ticket? Man, I took a $47 traffic ticket to trial. I know that state trooper was mad than the motherfucker, man. I showed the fuck. You got me fucked up. You got me all the way.
Hey, man, they pulled me over, for a stop sign violation in the city courts. And, I went right in that building and I told them, I wrote on a piece of paper, pretty much an offer of dismissal. And what I basically told them is you can dismiss this case right now, or we can, there's going to be some problems later. Probably a couple of months after that, they didn't take my offer. I filed the whole entire lawsuit, basically damn near proving that they don't have jurisdiction in any of the city courts in the state of Georgia to adjudicate state traffic offenses. So what this means is you got individuals who may be in jail right now for late traffic tickets. You got individuals that may be on probation right now for traffic tickets. As soon as an impartial judge ruled in my favor, basically how I articulated that the city courts do not have jurisdiction to adjudicate or convict individuals for state traffic offenses, all of those convictions are invalidated. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get exactly what you said. A whole bunch of them. They're gonna lose a whole bunch of money.
What you say now?
They're gonna lose a whole bunch of money. There's gonna be a whole bunch of lawsuits filed against them.
Oh yeah, this is pretty much why this whole entire conspiracy has been arrested against me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, it's just a black man that pretty much knows too much, but I'm not a black man that knows too much. I've been pretty much been given what I know to do a specific thing, and nothing can come in between that. Like, I told the individual side of it, like the best thing they can do now is just pretend that they have some type of sympathy, because what's going to come down this pipeline, they ain't prepared for it. This shit is real.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to ask you a question, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Man, I'm pretty. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to know what argument that you used to support your case that the municipal court didn't have subject matter jurisdiction to adjudicate any of those cases.
Well, I went to a case called Coker v. State. 1996 case. Pretty much, you know how. Pretty much, if you understand the law, you know how they speak in law sometimes. They don't necessarily say what they're trying to say. They say this and say that, and then you pick up here, and then if you don't pick up here, then okay, we got. You know how that shit goes.
Yeah.
But, you know, pretty much, I looked at that, and I basically figured it out. And I said to myself, okay, well, according to the Constitution, magistrate courts do not have the judicial power of the state. And number one, this specific case law right here says that, hell, a city court cannot preempt the state court in adjudication of state traffic offenses. So we now have a constitutional infringement that conflicts with the Constitution. So as soon as I started articulating that, you know, a judge that I'm now suing just magically got in my case and just denied all the relief, and it's just been damn near warfare, a lawfare.
Boy. Them motherfuckers get on my nerves, man.
You know, it is deep. So, you know.
That let you know you're right, though. You feel me?
Coming up.
That let you know you're right. When they do shit like that means you're right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm coming up with a podcast, man, and pretty much going to be like a mini-series and a YouTube show. Well, I'm going to be, you know, pretty much be in the streets and everything. You know, man, we got people dirt bike rides, you know what I'm saying, in the street. You know, we fucking, you know, we in donuts and everything, you know, but we bringing, you know, that not that Charleston white foolishness, but we bringing controversy to a very important message. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because ignorant sometimes fails, and you know you got to do some stuff, and then as soon as I can drag people in, you know, I want you to kind of, you know, once I have one of these shows, you know, we do that, and then I do the podcast, and then now we speak with that amount of intellect, in which we bring in and say, okay, look here, we understand what this country is, you know, she's down all the way to the banking system, and there's pretty much not a damn thing we can do about it right now, but move in a way that can keep this country going, and that's just how we got to do it. So yeah, man, I definitely want you to participate in that, man, and we can talk about much more things that I'm gonna do in regards to this, man. I mean, I got knowledge for days, man, that I can put down, and if you go and read my entire lawsuit, look at my cases, and pretty much I filed the response as well. I've also articulated how states can be sued. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, a lot of individuals don't even know. They say, well, you can't sue a state in federal court. Well, I just articulated how I can. And,
I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
Exactly. You know, man, if you go all the way, if you go all the way back, man, you just interpret that and read and understand and comprehend, then that's how you can do it. But it's a way things must be done, and it's a timing for everything and things like that, man. It's pretty much by the Supreme Court only itself about a small percentage of cases, because, you know, we dealing with a whole new structure of government where any one decision could have, you know, a significant impact on everything, man. So it's just how this shit is right now. Like, you know, if we want to change it, everybody can get up tomorrow and we can change it, but everybody just gonna get up and go to work. I might as well just play the game.
Straight up, man. I feel you. I hate it's like that, but you damn sure right. Don't nobody really pay attention to this shit is happening to them. That's the only time when they want to call in to the show.
Right.
And, you know, when it happens to them, and you can't, you really shouldn't be like that. You should be like on this shit. Like, should nobody be at work until this shit is resolved? Because we make the world go.
People don't understand
Man.
just how significant this is. You're talking about our children and our children's children.
Yeah, man.
Pretty much how they're going to live in the future is dependent on what we do
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
We continue to sit and allow, right, what we know is a problem to continuously to occur under our watch, and we are to blame for what's happening.
I agree.
Why I believe that I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is like a spiritual message, man, for a lot of people that's out there watching. You know, if this is pretty much Babylon, correct? And God is watching. He gave everybody a brain and two hands. He's watching this nation, and pretty much what the enemy is doing is showing you what they are doing, so that it's a lot of spiritual shit going on. You remember what happened last time when Jesus died on the cross and said, "For they know not what they do," right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the enemy is letting you know what they are doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people think the Lord is coming back with roses and chicken and Kool-Aid. That ain't gonna happen. He's coming back with a sword and fire. But it can be quite different than how that specific way is gonna go. If these people, pretty much get up off of their hinds and they're behind right now, you know what I'm saying? You don't gotta do anything crazy. These people have created a specific document that understands why we can't go crazy out here. Hey, you may not like this person because of his color. Hey, you might not like him because of his race. But we understand how this whole entire system operates. So in order to keep this fucking planet from exploding, we created this where all are equal under the law, and we have to move according to this specific document. However, there may come a time where that phone may ring, and you're going to have to answer that call. A lot of people right now playing Madden, and the phone's still ringing. See, when the Lord called me, I picked up on the first ring, and we've been talking every day. So, they already know what I'm about. Like, I'm not even the chosen. I'm down to the general right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what the Lord said. Touch not my anointing. You know what I'm saying? You know how the rest goes.
I hear you.
Yeah, man, look, we can do plenty more work. Also, I got a lot more coming, man. With an organization that's been on the news. They've been in the 1079 things like that, man. I'm gonna do some pretty big things with them. I'm also running for Congress as well. I'm doing a lot. This shit's gonna come, let's just say, I'm moving in a strategic manner to do what's best for, damn near everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I got you.
I could have, and it's only because I allowed the Lord to touch me, because only Him know that at one time I was on my way to do something totally different. And I seen that big wheel with them eyes come down and gave me a blueprint.
Man, look, they'll have you like that. Them folks make you want to put your hands on them, man. They play too damn much, man.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta have that in you, because that's your final check and balance.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have that intellect, or you won't even have to go there with these people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good people in government right there, man. Like you might deal with a couple motherfuckers that get out of do some kind of thing like that. But when you talking about the entirety of this nation, like we are the last stand for freedom. Like under no fucking circumstances can we allow this nation to fall. And even if I hate this person, I don't like this person, I understand the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These satanic demonic worshipers, they don't understand nothing. The only thing they understand is show them this so that, I don't even want to say that because, they might be listening. I don't even want them to know I know all that.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a tune with everything they're doing. That's pretty much why they put all this shit in the news and the movies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tune with what they're doing. Pretty much, I believe their punishment is going to be behind ours who sit and watch these things occur. You get what I'm saying? And then, after all of these people in front of them may end up getting slaughtered, the enemy who caused us, not going to say caused all this, but who let us see everything, pretty much just going to look at the Lord and say, well, I told them what we was planning. And guess what might happen? The Lord might let them walk by. So a lot of that shit gonna fly over a lot of heads. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna fly over a lot of heads, but the wise don't understand. But man, listen, we're gonna have plenty more conversations about this, man. I got another brother, man, I want you to talk to, King Demetrius. You probably, he on TikTok going crazy. And man, we gonna go in this, man. I'm talking about plenty much. I got a lot of shit to say, a lot of shit on my mind, but man, if we can script this thing out right with these specific matters, where all of us can get all information and our intellect on the record,
yeah.
And pretty much out there in the public, man, we can do some very great things, man.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna email you my. I think I text you my number. I don't know. But if not, I'll email you my number, and then you can just call me whenever, and I'll hit you. If I don't answer, I'll call you back whenever I can.
Yes, indeed, brother. Yes, indeed. I think I text your number, but if not, I'm gonna go back. Send me your email again. I don't know if that was the right number or, because I copy and paste and put it in the message. So I don't know if that will work. But yeah, send me that, and I'm gonna send you my website too, man, so you can go and look at it and read my actual response. That actual response is gonna bring everything in perspective about what I'm doing, and it'll kind of give you a sense of everything that I'm speaking about right now, and the things that I'm, we need to do. You know what I'm saying?
You filed your response today.
It's in real. We gonna
Go ahead.
what you say now?
Well, I was asking. You filed your
It's in
response.
real, man. Listen, we gonna have flex. Hold on, go ahead.
I was asking. You talking about your response? Do you mean your response in opposition to their motions to dismiss?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, I got Pacer. I can go on there and check it out on Pacer. Well, if it's on your website, I might as well just go on your website. 'Cause I have a Pacer account too, but I just go on your website and check it out.
Yeah. That's what I do, man. For the people that don't got a paper, you can just go on my website and go to the breaking news section. Everything they file, I put up on the page. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can go read it. You know what I'm saying? Stay up to date on it, man. But it's a lot more stuff that I'm working on in the background, man. That's gonna shoot this up into down middle stars, man.
Okay.
Nothing really can stop, what's coming, man. Whatever they've been trying to do and interfere with, this shit has already been ordained, man. I'm talking about everywhere I go, I see these 3 words. It is settled. This shit is not a game.
Straight up.
They go to these churches all day, every day, man, but they don't believe something significant is occurring.
Mm-hmm.
I told them a long time ago, the sheep fears the wolf, but will be eaten by the shepherd. They
Straight
looking at
up.
the wrong person.
Yeah.
They looking in the sky, they think this is him.
Yeah, straight up. I got you. Well, I'm rooting for you, man. If anything I can do.
We're gonna do plenty more work, man, and we'll probably chop it up tomorrow. In probably 2 or 3 days. If you want to come back on, I'm doing a little indenting right now for this wine urban constitution, man, because I think this shit gonna be lit, man, because it's gonna be kind of hands-on, then it's gonna be like switching from the street into that, into like a podcast, damn near like an interview back on the street. It's gonna be damn near like a documentary, mini YouTube series, man, and that's just to get the people's eye, man. So, I definitely want you on there, man, because you got that mind.
Well, I'm there, bro.
You can bring a lot to the table.
I'm there.
With a lot of other individuals, man. So we gonna work, brother.
All right. Thank you for calling in, man. Good luck, man. Be safe, man. And stay vigilant.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see how long I've been on. I've been on almost 2 hours. Yeah, it's been about 2 hours almost. Woo! That was the guy who's filed the lawsuit, suing the judges. Was it
90 seconds.
Arnold versus Kemp et al. I made a video about it. I think he's got a good shot. I think he's gonna win that case, man. If he gets the right impartial so-called judge to adjudicate it, I think he got a good shot. A real good shot. And if they deny, he just appealed it all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I wouldn't stop until I get there.
60 seconds.
I wouldn't stop. If y'all watching the video and y'all haven't hit the like button yet, please go ahead and hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Okay. Says I got about 60 seconds left on the air. So the phones, they're about to hang up. Let's see. When do you go live? I have been following you for 9 months. Robert, well, I appreciate that, Robert. It really just, I really go live whenever I can. It used to be, I used to try to do it like every Thursday or something like that, but I couldn't make the deadline. And I do apologize to y'all for that, but I just couldn't make the deadline to go live.
10 seconds.
So I just, like today, I found time to go live. I might be able to do it maybe once or twice, 2 more times this week. I'm not really sure, but just, I'll try to go live the next time whenever I can, man. If I can find the time, then I'll do it. The phone lines are down.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, that's over with. So, all right. Before I leave, I'm gonna ask y'all: do anybody have any questions before I log off? Any questions? Any questions, anybody? Any questions? JR, if you're watching, I'm sorry, man. I had to take that call from that guy, DeAndre. I had to take the call. I'm sorry. So the next time I go live, if you're watching, JR, just call in and we can go ahead and talk about your case. Any questions, everybody? Anybody? Any questions? I'm a little tired. I'm about to go and relax. It's getting dark outside anyway. Whew, excuse me. Well, I'm about to go ahead and log off. I don't have any more questions. So I'm about to go ahead and log off. I hope everybody enjoys their night. Get a good night rest. I'm tired. I'm about to go ahead and leave, y'all. I'm tired. Good night, y'all. The Supreme Litigant is out. Peace.